Hey guys, as I do every single month, in this episode we'll go through 10 recent deals that I've posted on my Facebook group in the month of February 2024. We'll go through high cash flow deals that have grown more than what people are used to properties growing in 2 or 3 years. They've done that in just a number of months. We'll go through deals where they're negotiated under market, off market, deals that were bought interstate without needing a single buyer's agent. The idea is to give you confidence, the features in a property that you should look for, the locations that you should dive deeper into, so you can see what success looks like and emulate it. I want you to take action for yourself, by yourself, after this video. Stick around, let's get our property juices flowing. I always say this, but all these deals are verifiable because the clients are tagged. They're part of this Facebook community in which the deals have been posted. Australian Property Mastery with PK. There's almost 50,000 people in here. Incredible people, some many times more successful than me. Join, reach out to these clients of mine and get education and inspiration. And I haven't cherry-picked these deals, right? I've done this video year after year. Clients have now bought over 3,000 properties since I started teaching in 2017. Properties worth more than $1.5 billion, saving themselves $50 million in buyer's agent fees. Stick around to the end. Deal number 1, Brisbane aircraft engineer gets 7.1% yield WA deal, grows $55,000 or 14% in 6 months. The first point I want to make is that if you follow data, you can get big growth quickly. Now, of course, we don't just want quick growth, we want long-term sustainable growth, but long-term sustainable growth, if it compounds on initial huge growth, then that long-term growth, the power of compounding, exacerbates and is compounded. And this is fantastic because he's got a 7.1% yield. Now, as the years flow by, rents will continue to go up. Whether rates go up, stay stable or down is inconsequential, because in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time, the 7% becomes 10%, becomes 15%. It only goes up. Rents will actually grow, the market rents, by $3,000 to $5,000 in the next 18 months, looking at the demand supply of this rental market. It's a big block, 776 square meters, and it's got a powered workshop. When you're looking for a property, try to find some X factor in that property. If it's got like a powered workshop, then a lot of tenants really love it because they can utilize it because of the demographic that they fall under. It's 300 meters from the train station and 500 meters to a really good school. All these things are obviously well understood. There are no secrets. But in a hot market, people often compromise. Don't compromise these things. And he's now bought, Bowie has, 3 properties without a buyer's agent, saving himself $45,000 in the process. So he can do it himself. He's a busy guy, like he's an aircraft engineer, smart guy, right? But he's still doing it because you can get full-time property result like Bowie has 3 times without even putting in a part-time effort using data. The purchase price was $402,500. He required less than $75,000 to do this deal. Rent is $550. Great short and long-term data factors like days on market, stock on market, building approvals, etc., etc. Some people say things like days on market isn't important, but it's a lead indicator of demand. If properties are getting sold faster and faster, then obviously prices are going to go up. And he's bought this in WA from Brisbane without catching a single flight. He had all the due diligence done for him on the ground by a property manager and building and pest inspector, and therefore he was confident to actually go through with the deal. Now he's self-sufficient. He's bought 3 and he's gonna carry on buying more, and he's building passive income. This is the property right here. Really nice. Sometimes these trees can be a bit problematic. You want to make sure they're cut regularly, but this property is super nice. Really good owner-occupier appeal as well. Number 2, Sydney data scientist snags 6.5% yield deal under $400,000 with 20% annualized growth since bought. So it's obviously not been a whole year, right? But on an annualized basis, that's how much it's growing. And this is, people always ask me, hey, PK, what's the next Perth? Okay, we're still buying in some parts of Perth, but what's the next Perth? There are pockets of regional Queensland that are really heating up. Their price momentum is quickening, and they're really, quote unquote, the next Perth, but still, relatively speaking, at the bottom of their long-term cycle. Market rents are going to increase. And the thing is, like, if you're even a middle to high income earner, we don't buy properties just for depreciation, tax benefits alone. But if you can get that as a bonus because it's like a 2012 bill or it was built after 1987, then why not? Like, why leave that money on the table? You don't buy just for depreciation because if and when you sell, you have to give a lot of that depreciation back to the ATO. So don't just buy based on that and buy like a fancy, shiny object, brand new property, house, land package. Don't do that for growth reasons. But if you can get depreciation, then don't leave it on the table. He's bought this, Pragatish has, for $364,000. He required less than 65K to do it. Rent is 450, vacancy is 0.42%, 540 square meter is the land, and this is the property down here. So it's one of those more classic, newer type properties. You can see it's very plain in the backyard. There's really nothing fancy going on at all, but that just means lower maintenance, which is a good thing for us. Number 3, Sydney data scientist buys another, in fact, this is Pragatish again, you can see he's tagged, another 7.2% yield deal under 400K, this time with 22% annualized growth since he bought. And he, like, when we looked at the market, it was going down and then he bought, okay, and then it started to increase and it's consistently been increasing since then. He literally timed the market right at the bottom. Now, I don't want to say, oh, I'll do my course and you'll perfectly time the market to the month, the bottom of the market every time. I don't want to lie to you, right? But Pragatish, he indeed did do this. So credit where credit is due. Walking distance to a top private school, that's pretty rare. Like, you know, to public schools, etc., it's quite common, but to our private school, that's a little bit more rare. So kudos to him. That's only a good thing. And once again, bonus tax depreciation. So he's making money and he's saving money. That's always a good thing. He's bought twice now, as you know, saved $30,000 in buyer's agent fees. $392,000 is this one. He's bought this with needing less than $65,000, $550 a week in rent. Great data, 0.35% vacancy. He's bought this once again in WA from Sydney. And it's really important for me to note that there's really a lot of misinformation online. It's really easy to make mistakes, but as I keep harping on, data doesn't lie, okay? Numbers do not lie and results do not lie. So if you can combine data with someone who's objective, someone who will say, don't buy that deal because they're not getting incentivized every time you purchase a deal, then you get a true mentor. Data plus mentoring, like that's truly what accelerates your property investing. And here's the deal for this one. So he's buying good looking properties, but once again, they're not ultra fancy. I don't know if there's some water issues at the front there. Maybe that gutter needs to be cleaned, some sort of touch up required there, just as a FYI. Number 4, gorgeous 6.5% high yield WA property sees double-digit annualized growth, 3 properties in 6 months. So once again, if your property in this climate in 2024, end of 2023, is not growing like the month that you buy it, then you probably haven't used data, okay? Gone are those days where you need to wait 3 years to get 10% growth, okay? You don't need to do that anymore with data. You can really spearhead it. I know a lot of, with all kindness, boomers will say, look, it's all about the long-term game. Why are you going on about short-term results? But if you get short-term results, then long-term results compound on them. So it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's grown more than 50K in the 5 months since it's bought, 19 rental applications before settlement. All right, so you can put like clauses in your contract, talk to your conveyancer about how you can actually start advertising and getting tenants locked in before settlement. Bonus tax depreciation benefits, I talked about that. Arpit here, he's tagged, brilliant, amazing guy. He's bought thrice without a buyer's agent, saved himself $45,000 in the process. If he hadn't saved that, he's probably not going to be able to buy his next property because he's given all his deposit away to the buyer's agents. He's bought this for $564,000, total required $120K to buy it, $700 a week in rent, 0.5% vacancy, block is 526, pretty good. All right, 2005 year built. He's bought this in Perth from Melbourne. And look, I just want to say, as I always do, don't risk giving the keys to your financial future to someone else. Like, don't become dependent on me or anyone else every single time you want to buy a property. Don't pay a buyer's agent $15,000 just to send you properties off real estate or domain or off market, which you can just get yourself. And I've done all sorts of videos explaining how you can do that. And don't be fooled into a sort of bait and switch course from said buyer's agents that then upsell you to their full service because their course never worked in the process. Buyer's agent agents will never sell you a course that actually works because it cannibalizes their business model. No one cares about your money, guys, as much as you do. Not me either. Okay, that's why you have to take control of your financial future, and you have to tell yourself that that is the only way out of the rat race. You need to inject knowledge in the 6 inches between your two ears. Here's the property. Really nice one. Okay, we're up to number 5. Beautiful 6.8% high yield renovated Perth property. Under 500K tenant. Favorite with solar panels. So solar panels, I mean, the tenant pays the electricity anyway. So, I mean, what benefit is it for us landlords to spend $10,000 or whatever on solar panels? But if you can find a property, if it already has solar panels, then it's a win-win, right? You're not really paying a premium for the solar panels. The tenants are happy because their electricity bill is down, and you're happy because you have happy tenants. It's a win-win round. He's grown more than 50K in the last 5 months, workshop for extra tenant appeal, and he's negotiated 7K on non-structural defects. So when you go conditional on that property and you have your building and pest inspector give you the inspection report, make sure you try to negotiate after that as well. Even if there's no big issues, always go back to the agent or via your conveyancer and try to get money off. You'll be surprised at how much you can get off in a nice way, because by that time the vendor has already mentally sold that property and they don't want to crash the contract. Preetham here has bought this property for 456. He needed 80K to do so. The market rent per week is 600. That's pretty terrific. 0.74% vacancy, 684 square meters, bought in Perth from the East Coast. And here's the property right here. So it's a nice kind of secure fenced block with a nice cute little backyard. I think, is that a fire pit? Looks like a well. I think it might be a fire pit. And really nice indoors, as I know real work to be done on this property whatsoever. Number 6, 6.1% yield WA property, growing by tens of thousands with bonus tax benefits. This is bought by Deepak Malhotra. And I want to say about Deepak, you know, mindset is everything. Sometimes we can't talk about money with our friends, colleagues, family, because it's like you get judged. But when you're in a community like my Facebook group or a part of my private community for just for clients, we can talk about money. We can talk about money blocks. We can talk about mindset. We can talk about all these things with like-minded people, and it really helps. It really helps elevate your consciousness so that you can really take your financial future in control because you see other people doing so. Anyway, that was a sidebar, but Deepak has really inspired me from that perspective. 3-minute walk to the water. He's stuck with data and blocked out outside noise. You know, sometimes we get so distracted by media articles or a million different podcasts, YouTube channels talking about property, friends, family, or our own inner demons. You know, does this work? What if tenants trash the... Just block that out, and anything that disrupts you, look into the data to see if it's a valid concern or not. Not data that your friends and family say, but actually empirical aggregate data. Secured tenants in just 3 days. Deepak did. He's bought this for 555,000. Need 120K to do so. Rent per week is 650. Vacancies 0.50616 is square meters block size, and built in 2002. Brick building. He's bought this from Sydney in WA. And here's the property. It's kind of an interesting type of property. It's got good mulch and good landscaping in the back. The front is, I mean, I don't know about that garage, but hey, tenants don't really care what color the garage is as long as the interior and the design, the floor plan of the property is very good. So make sure you always go for an open floor plan, or at least if that's the right demographics, taste in the suburb that you're looking for. Good shed as well, which people always prefer. We're up to number 7. Tech consultant buys 6.2% yield WA property. Huge block, big capital growth, tens of thousands already in like a short period of time. So it's a gated driveway with side access for a granny flat. So like WA, they've just released like new legislation where you can build granny flats without needing a permit in a lot of cases. You still need a building approval. So if you buy a property, try to get something with side access where you can build a granny flat. Maybe not now, but in the future, it may cost you $100,000, $150,000. But when it comes to retirement, you can actually rent that out separately in a lot of cases and get that extra $200, $300, $400, $500 a week in rent. And that really helps with cash flow and passive income. Big land to asset ratio on 801 square meter block. The actual land size by itself doesn't always matter, all right? Sometimes it's fine to buy a high 400 squares type of land size as long as the land to asset ratio is very high. We want to be paying for the land, not a sparkly building. 1992 build, so it's good depreciation benefits on this. Nashad here is tagged, done some brilliant work. Purchase price $408,000. He needed $75K to get in, $490 a week in rent. Vacancy is 0.32%, and anything under 2% is good. Anything under 1% is brilliant. Anything under 0.5% is really spectacular. Block size 801 and built 1991. He's bought this from Melbourne in WA, and here's the property. So good gated, good driveway up here, so you can use the front yard as well as the backyard. This is the front yard, and this is especially good for kids. When tenants look at this, or even future owner occupiers, valuers, they like it. You've got 2 spaces for the kids, so there's a bit of extra value there. Number 8, software engineer buys 5.9% yield Perth property, growing monthly on a big block. Once again, double brick, low maintenance house. Brick is not necessary. You can get weatherboard houses that are made from really solid timber, that are made from even steel. Even some of the modern weatherboard materials are very durable. Yes, they require a little bit more painting every now and then, but that doesn't mean that from a structural solidarity perspective, it's any inferior necessarily to brick. Okay, so this is a brick, it's awesome, but you don't need to buy a brick house as long as you've done the right due diligence on your weatherboard house as well. Powered drive-through, workshop, walking distance to parks and schools. 549. Hurry bought this for. He's tagged here, as you can see, needed 120k. You don't need 120k. You can buy properties with as little 60k. I'm just showing you a random assortment, really, from the month of February that I posted. Rent is $620 a week, 5.56% vacancy, 740 square meters in the block size brick building, bought in Perth from Sydney. And here it is. Like, personally, I don't think I would buy this property. It's not sort of to my taste in terms of where I want to live. But always remember, if you guys are new to property investing, we don't care if we would like to live there or not, as long as the local demographic wants to live there. And the way you find that out is by talking to local agents over the phone and by talking to local property managers over the phone. As long as they're happy, as long as the tenants are happy, we don't honestly care what the property looks like. Number 9, 7% high yield deal with annualized capital growth of around 14% so far, and with bonus tax benefits. So the cash on cash benefit is even higher. Rents will rise for sure. 1999 build, so with that depreciation, it's providing perhaps another $3,000-$4,000 a year in cash flow because of that reason. Quiet street next to a golf course. Nilo Aleo has bought this property. Great work by him. He's bought this for just $356,200. Needed 60k. So I was saying before, right? You just need 60k in some instances. Even the long-term data factors in the property in a suburb like this is good, where incomes relative to state are rising at the right gradient. Vacancy is very low, 0.43, and it's bought in Queensland, this one. Here's the pictures, beautiful. Last one, fitness coach by 6.2% yield. Perth property grows $100,000 in 9 months with bonus tax benefits. Now, if you rewind back 9 months to like the start or mid of 2023, how many people thought that property would go down with recession fears, with interest rates rising consistently? But those people who chose to block out the noise and just focus on not just macro data, but micro data, because there's markets within markets. There's always areas that will go up in value regardless of what's happening on a macro scale. Those are the ones that are now reaping their reward. The suburb has grown massively, and the growth itself has given him enough equity to withdraw a deposit for another property without any additional savings. So that's obviously fantastic. 1996 brick build, so it's good depreciation, good solid properties. Bought 2 properties in 2 months pre-UNCAS, and he's made terrific gains, no pun intended. $420,000 is what this property cost, and he needed 75k to get in. Rent is $500 a week, 0.63% vacancy, block size is 561. Brick building. He's bought this in Perth from Sydney. A lot of people asking, is Perth still a go? It's still a go. Even under 500k, it's still a go. If you can't find properties under 500k, that doesn't mean they don't exist. You maybe just not be looking in the same place as before. You may not be looking at the median value of the suburb. You need to be buying in the 25th percentile in terms of property types in that suburb. It's still possible. Perth has got a lot of legs. I'm not going to say it's going to go up for the next 5 years consistently, but I still think it's got multiple years left in this growth run. And here's the deal, okay? I don't know about the red and I don't know about the landscaping. I think the grass probably needs to be redone, reseeded, or new patches put on. But once again, as long as the tenant's happy, they may or may not even be using that backyard, depending if they have kids or whatnot. You ask them, you develop a relationship with them through your property manager, make sure they're happy. If they're happy, we're happy, and everyone wins. I want to leave you with this thought. Money is not scarce. In Economics 101, they tell us money is scarce. Okay, there's unlimited demand, desires, but there's only scarce resources. And so therefore there's competition. But I think if you have abundant mindset, if you follow data and you see successful people, truly successful people, not those with a limited mindset that are always lemon suckers and bringing everyone down, then you start to realize that money is not scarce. Money is scarce for the scarce-minded, but for those who are entrepreneurial, not necessarily business owners, but have this mindset that if I add enough value, if I work smart enough, I can create money, then you actually start to find that money's not scarce at all. It's there. You just need to push outside your comfort zone. You just need to create a win-win situation for yourself and others. You need to do things differently because the majority of people are sliding from the middle class to the lower class. Of course, that's a tragic outcome, but try to avoid that downfall. Try to find yourself a piece of ledge to claw onto, become educated and pull yourself up. Because in 20 years' time, I think the divide between the haves and have-nots, unfortunately, will just get wider and wider. Make sure you're on the right side of that equation by investing in the 6 inches between your 2 ears. To level up, I'll leave links below free to my Facebook community where all these members, all these clients, all these beautiful deals are. Australian Property Mastery with Pico, almost 50,000 people there. And also to my podcast, Oz Property Mastery with Pico on Spotify, iTunes, and Google. Really take time, guys. I know everyone's busy. Take time to educate yourself. You won't regret it. I guarantee that. My name's PK. Hit the subscribe button, give it a like, and I'll see you next month because there's hundreds of more deals to come. See ya.